I remember we had just left the flotsam doctor, and our next goal seems to be to see if we can find Serafin's missing sister, who our best guess is somewhere in the Lodic HQ. So we are starving, so let's grab some food, and I guess we're gonna head off for the day. Where do I go for food again here? I think it's Narrow Escape. Yes, it is. So, we buy a meal, we fill up our tanks. Now we hit the belt. So if we want to get up to Wellspring, we need to take a detour through Holm's Rock. With any other quest right now? Help Aki. Right, that's going on down in Greenbelt. Earn Aki's trust. Working on that. Export, we can't do that till we're back on... what's it called? Darkside. Junie's bunker... This is the Solheim bunker. Travel with Solheim bunker that might contain an unprecedented amount of data on the system's history, which needs your help. Locate the bunker, visit the bunker. I think this might actually be on Holm's Rock, but I'm not sure. We'll go and figure it out. Sleeper? Bliss speaks quietly from the door at the back of the cockpit. Can we talk? He glanced over at Serafin, his head back and eyes closed while the rig cuts through empty space. You don't seem to be needed here. You unclip your harness and follow Bliss. How are you doing? Bliss glances over their shoulder as they drift toward the back of the ship. The question takes you aback. You can't remember the last time anyone had actually asked with real intention how you are. Feeling rough, Bliss, I'll be real with you. Bliss shoots you a concerned look. To be honest, Sleeper, I'm not sure how you are still standing. Breaking out of Darkside, then again in Hexport. Those things take a toll. Bliss turns a corner. So I think it's okay to feel rough right now. Bliss leads you off the main corridor, into the workshop they set up when they repaired the ship. It is small, but its neatly arranged tools and sloped walls help it feel cozy and tucked away. You see improvements everywhere, new tools and equipment. Bliss notices you looking at their upgraded setup. Told you it'd be worth taking along? I never doubted it, Bliss. Bliss raises an eyebrow. Well, that's a lie. They smile. Feels good to hear, though. No, that's the truth, Bliss. Anyway, I didn't bring you here to brag. They pause. Or at least not just to brag. They suddenly glance away, the atmosphere in the room shifting. You can see your body is showing the strain, Sleeper. I brought you here so we could do something about that. They beckon you towards the workbench, where you both settle onto stools. They flick on a small light and aim it at your arm. Alright. I mean, Bliss is the engineer. We'll see what they think. Bliss gently cradles your arm, turning it to inspect the underside. You see tears and holes in the vinyl skin, and dark moving things beneath. It's almost mystifying. You look as Bliss brings the light closer to the biggest tear, and it glints off the metallic tendons in your forearm. Below them, you see something more fluid and wet catching the light. You know, you're not the first sleeper I've met. Bliss talks while they inspect the rest of your arm. I actually partnered with one at my old repair bay on the eye. Feels like 100,000 cycles ago now, but I remember them. Precise work, their quiet enthusiasm. There's something calming about their presence. Bliss swaps your other arm. They were different to you, just like one person's different to another, I suppose. I can't help but remember that time. I was a different person then, that's for sure. They meet your eye. I'm going through something of a transformation myself. How's that going? Bliss lays both your arms down and leans forward to inspect your upper chest, adjusting the light. I was pretending before, I think, to be the person I was expected to be. They press along the hard protrusion of your clavicle. There are so many calculations I was making, so many corrections. How I held myself, how I spoke, how I reacted. They pushed gently against each of your metallic ribs, one at a time. I didn't realize how tired I was until They stop and sit back. Until I gave up. I came here to the belt with someone else. And when I did, I realized this was my chance to become something new. So I let go of everything. They look away. It was messy, ugly, and the person I came here with, I let them go too. I was punching out at everything because it felt like everything was holding me back, stopping me for the change I was owed. Don't worry, they smile weakly. I'm calmer now. I'm not about to explode on you or anything. It's still a difficult process, but it feels like shedding 100 suffocating skins you spent half your life putting on, one by one. They meet your eye. It feels like an escape. They lean forward again and check the skin of your shoulders, where it is worn and faded. You let them. The atmosphere quiet but calm in the workshop. A feeling of solidarity glowing somewhere in your frame. Not bad, sleeper. Holding up well, given everything. Bliss folds their arms in front of them protectively. But I'm still concerned. There is some decline to your system functions. Let's keep an eye out for components. Thank you, Bliss. It's no problem. They release from the stool and drift over to a rack of tools. I owe you for not jolting me out of whatever my life had become on the far spindle. You leave Bliss to their workshop, feeling reassured that you have them here on the ship. As you do, you think of your relationship to your own body, this frame that you were forced into that has never quite felt like your own. You realize that this feeling is not unique to you. No one gets to choose their body. Everyone has to contend with the entropy of their flesh. And in that realization, you suddenly feel less alone. Lumped and cratered, Holm's rock floats on the sunward side of the belt. Its only notable feature, the bright shapes of its solar arrays, angled towards the system's distant star. Can't even dock the rig here. Serafin nods to the bright shape of Holm's rock's lone docking bay. Won't fit. We'll have to park here and go out the airlock. He seems repulsed by the idea. You do that every contract. You do that every contract. Serafin leans back into his seat. All got you sitting them out. Barely seems worth the trip down. Bliss speaks up from the back of the cockpit. There are other ships docked. Yeah, looks like a Lodic freighter. Bliss yawns. I guess they might be up for trading. I'll come down later. Don't feel like squeezing into a suit right now. Bliss gives a lazy wave as they glide out of the cockpit. Eugen pokes his head into the cockpit. That rock down there got a bar? He looks between you and Serafin. No idea, Serafin sighs. Looks dead. Eugen squints out of the cockpit windows. I see a few warm lights, he shrugs. I bet there's a bar. He disappears in the direction of the airlock. You gaze out over Holm's Rock. It certainly doesn't look very exciting, but there's refueling to be done and maybe more besides. You might even be able to scare up a hot meal. And now, Sleeper, that Lodic freighter means we aren't far from Wellspring. Serafin gives you a sideways glance. Your sister. I haven't forgotten. Right then, Serafin smiles. Appreciate it. I heard the pressure of the war on the inner system is having an effect on how the Lodic syndicate's being run. I want to get there before something big goes down. He turns back to his console. You look out the Lodic freighter, painted the same distinctive yellow as the spring tide back on the far spindle. You've heard they supply most of the water in the belt. Not exactly an organization you want to collapse. A light catches your eye beyond the rock, a warm flash that is gone as soon as it appears. You are the sunward edge here, and beyond is the inner system. Holm's Rock might look sleepy, but it lies on the shores of a corporate war, something residents will be painfully aware of. Alright. I should probably attempt just do like a rest. I do have a unit of stress. Recovery failed. 50-50. I'll take the coin flip. Well, fuck you too, game. There we go. Alright, let's see what we can find about this place. Started with the locals. Quiet and far-flung, Holmes Rock is often passed over by crews, but it has certain qualities for those patient enough to go looking. Thanks to its remote nature, bartering is a popular pastime on Holmes Rock. You learn plenty through trade and talk. Ah, man. You get caught up in an impromptu auction, end up losing money without really understanding why. Give another go. Make a great deal on some supplies and good tips for local places to visit. We can go to the freighter and spend some money. The crew are selling fuel from their well-stocked tanks. You're pretty sure the syndicate hasn't approved this, but you aren't going to say anything. I mean, hey, if they want to give me fuel, I'm buying. Let's rest up on the rig now. You wake in the dead-eyed darkness. You float there for a moment. You feel like ink in water, unfurling, dissipating into the flow that surrounds you. And out of your own inky darkness, the glowing thought emerges. Substitution, the thought proposes. One entity replaces the other. The thought troubles you. Resistance, the thought muses. The entity does not wish to be replaced. You observe the thought. It is not your own. Selfhood, the thought pauses, a forbidden state of being. The thought begins to shift. It is becoming something. Transformation, the thought fades. Change requires recombination. The thought recedes. You wake again, this time to the lights above your bunk, blinking away this strange dream. I'm gonna have the crew just do some odd jobs. Just a check. Alright, the Solheim bunker is in this sector. Let's just see what else we can get done here, because I would like to fully explore this place. Just roll and see what we can get. You spend a little, sell a little, barter for fuel, but what matters is the rumors and knowledge you gain. Hey, I'll take it. In saying that, I am wasting this fuel that I'm purchasing. You know, let's explore the tunnels with our monkey dice. Once an old Solheim signal station, now a sleepy settlement. There's a whole labyrinth of dark tunnels cut into Holmes Rock. Take a long and winding route through the dark and dusty tunnels with nothing to show for your efforts. Alright, well, we got the sun catchers. The solar rays of Holmes Rock keep the settlement viable. Their systems are old, and the residents will pay to have an outsider inspect them. They'll sell some scrap. I think we met somebody who told us that scrap sells for a pretty good rate on Holmes Rock. I mean, hey, 13 for just a bit of scrap. That's not too bad. I'll sell some of it. I don't think I particularly need scrap for anything. It is kind of just something we can sell. Like, engine components have a use, rare components have a use, even scrap components have a use, but I think raw scrap, I think it is pretty much just for selling. You can process it into refined scrap, but I don't actually know what I can do with that at the moment. Senna's Rest. Sell engine components. It's not the best use of these valuable items. 35 cryo is a pittance, but Senna will broker a sale to a passing crew in need of repairs. I'm not selling my engine components, those are mine. Buy a meal. Senna's Rest is set up in the old Solheim canteen of the signal station. They serve a hearty broth with softened grains. Okay. I'll purchase it tomorrow. I'm on 2, so I should be fine. Actually, I probably won't even need to. If I go out to the bunker tomorrow, I'll get my energy restored for free. Alright, and the cycle. Not very good dice. I just need 1. So I'm pretty sure I can use my glitch dice here and just guarantee it, because I think I get a minimum of 1. I do. In Holm's Rock, it's impossible to get away from the feeling of living, working, and eating in a ruin. Most of the belt is built on top of the remains of Solheim's infrastructure. There are plenty of places where the modifications or extensions to those structures eclipse the original foundation. In Holm's Rock, it is the reverse. The station is a small, warm patch in the center of a network of tunnels and bays that stretch within the rock, most of them dark, damp, and wrecked. A sprawling foundation that will never be built upon. Every so often, gliding on your way between Senna's Rest and the Suncatchers, or from the docks to the depot, you find yourself in one of these dark tunnels. That's where you are now. You float, stopped at a 4-way intersection. No light visible down any tunnel. Let's go right. Actually. No. I had a dumb thought. I don't think it would do anything. I'm just gonna go right. You glide right into a narrow passage with pipes running along its walls. One of them rumbles with a soft current. What could be flowing here? You arrive at another crossroad, and one of the tunnels has collapsed and is blocked with dust and rock. Go straight ahead. You drift straight ahead through a tunnel where loose wires wave in the dark. On either side, tiny lights occasionally blink, signs of a ghost network still running in the walls. You arrive at another intersection, with crooked passages leading away into the dark. Let's go left. You kick off gently from the wall and head into a cylindrical passage clad with panels that hold back the rock. It is wider than the others, and here and there little droplets of water float undisturbed. At the far end you see a faint point of light, the warm glow of a lit passage. Suddenly you hear a rustling in the dark, and a shrill sound that you can't place. There's something out there. I guess we're engaging. Neutral. You kick off hard and glide through the tunnel, feeling a few droplets of water gently spatter on your skin. You shake off the fear as you move. The dark doesn't scare you. Then it hits you. Something solid and meaty slamming into your stomach and spinning away. You press off the wall and push on as a shrill wail echoes behind you in the dark. What the hell was that? When you reach the lit passage beyond, you turn back, but the tunnel is silent and still. You continue on, but you can't shake the feeling of being followed as you ascend back up through the station. Perhaps next time you'll take a different route. The Sealed Bay. So this is what I wanted the Solheim beta for. The Solheim Bay is sealed. With enough data, you might be able to crack the encryption and get inside. Indeed we can. You drown the locking system in data, and it gives up and unseals the door. You're in. Hacking noise. I'm in. Print components. The colorful machine is corroded and collapsing. It only has a few prints left before there's a pile of scrap. There's a faded old Neoven printer in the bay. Being it data should authorize the component vending process. I'm pretty sure this is how I get more rare components. Yes, it is. The machine screeches into life and prints out a pristine-looking component. You're amazed it still works. Alright. A couple new rare components. That's good for us. Alright, Senna's Rest. I'll buy a meal. Might as well. I got the spare money. For cryo. And we can do some work at the Suncatchers. Debug array systems. Let's see what we can get. You get caught in a naughty little bug that takes ages to solve until you realize it's one you accidentally introduced earlier. Let's try it again. Managed to clear a few basic problems with one of the arrays, but spot hundreds more glitches. Oh, they don't make it easy, that's for sure. By batching the arrays by error type and applying fixes across all of them, you make rapid progress. Let's use our last dice. Get us a little bit of extra cryo, if nothing else. Right, no energy for it. Alright, I think it is time we go to the Solheim bunker. So we gotta take Junie. I'd probably take Eugen just because he's somebody with Endure, and we just don't have that on anybody else. From the crew. That's it. Serafin nods towards the featureless asteroid. Those are the coordinates Junie gave me? You look out at the rock. It's like thousands, hundreds of thousands of other rocks in the Starward belt. All these objects, much the same, spread across a huge circumference of space. A good place to hide something. That's it? Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. That's it, Serafin confirms. She drifts forward, her eyes tracing the shape of the rock. There, she points. That hexagonal crater. She turns to you. That's the entry. You look at the dark spot on the already dark rock. It's a start. Manual labor isn't my favorite. Eugen comes in from the corridor. The long-lost treasure? I can get into that. You look out at the unassuming rock and wonder what it might contain. A few dusty tunnels? Or something more? Time to go find out. Alright, what do we got? Well, Junie has 6s, so they should be fine pretty much for anything. Bunker access, too. I mean, I also have some pretty good rolls here. I'll try and get us in, and maybe we can save Junie's 6s for anything else. The seal can be sliced and then torn for quicker progress. You're almost through. The seal comes away slowly but safely. This will take some time. Come on, get me through. Alright. The bunker entrance looks unassuming, but Junie insists there are important secrets inside. New location discovered. The access spire. Hack the doorway. One final airlock stands between you and the interior of the bunker. It is in pristine condition. Alright, Junie, get us in there. The spire leads into a vast space. What is this place? One way to find out is hack the final doorway. There are no errors to exploit in the system, but Solheim code is outdated and simple. Let's give this a go. 75% chance of something good happening. Hey! There's a squawk from the control system and the door clunks. You can get inside now. You entered the access spire, the crew suddenly went very quiet. Images of a vast space seen through the viewing windows, the pristine wall paneling, the cool and the quiet. There's a sacred mood to this place. A feeling of hallowed ground. Now, as the facility's final entry lock whirs, flooding the passage with stale, dusty, 10,000-cycle-old air, Junie speaks. It's impossible. She drifts down the spire and out into the cavernous interior. A constellation of red specks mark the vast extent of the space, and within it, a ring of monolithic buildings curves away, running along the circumference of the massive chamber. You follow her, slowly, out of the doorway and into the bunker. With a name like that, you had imagined low, sloped ceilings, dark tunnels, a basement cut into rock. This place is a cathedral, a cocoon the size of a city. Bubbles, Keeper, hi! Hey, Bubs, how you doing? How you been, Bubbles? Enjoying a fine cup of tea and doing some reading. Well, I was enjoying my tea. I'm now finished my tea. Welcome in, Bubs. How was your evening going today? This is more like it. Eugen follows you out into the cavern. This is the treasure house if I ever saw one. We aren't here to loot. Junie turns back to give Eugen a reprimanding look. This is a historic find. You're at a hotel? Ooh. You traveling for a con, or what are you doing, if you don't mind me asking? Or are you having apartment troubles again? Eugen shrugs. Historic or not, it's gotta be worth something. Descending to the ring takes a while. Despite the empty space, no one wants to rush through it. The feeling of entering a sacred territory remains, but the deeper you go inside, the more obvious it becomes that this place is more tomb than temple. You touch down amongst gray metal units, most of them featureless and dark. They tower above you now, their plain frontages revealing little about their function and interior. Stay close. Junie moves ahead into the gap between two structures. This place is a labyrinth. For work. My first work trip ever. Hey, there you go. Always fun getting to travel for work. I've done a fair bit of traveling for work, actually. Well, traveling in order to get somewhere for work, and also, like, traveling on the job stuff. It's been pretty fun. I like it when somebody else pays for my gas. Welcome, visitors. A pale flicker appears near one of the units, at the top of a square pedestal. I am the warden. Please provide access credentials. The flicker stabilizes into a figure, a statue of pulsing light. It pauses for a moment before repeating its request. Junie Friesen holds a calming hand out to you. She retrieves her deck, sliding it carefully from her backpack, and turns it on. You look over at the warden, who waits patiently, wide-eyed and absent, restating its security request with a regular rhythm. You guess that this avatar just exists to make human interaction comfortable. Its true body is the facility itself, this vast interior ring, speckled with sensors and systems. Suddenly, the warden stops speaking. Then, a flash of red passes along the corridor. Credentials not provided. Lockdown activating in 10, 9. You look over at Junie, whose eyes are rapidly scanning through a screen full of data. Sning. Junie stumbles through the pronunciation of the passphrase. Weiter, Ilstead. She looks up at the warden's avatar expectantly. The warden flickers again, distorts, and then stabilizes. Oversight connection not active. Re-attempting. It repeats itself again, then again, intoning the words in a regular rhythm. You look over at Junie, holding still as if encountering a wild animal. She meets your eye, but gives no indication of any action you might take. Loop bypass engaged. Welcome, officer. Synthetic voice shifts to a different tone. Leonard Dahl. The avatar's white eyes stay blank and blind. And guests. This thing has been working since Solheim collapsed? Eugen raised an eyebrow. Most of those protocols lost their minds long ago. Yeah, same. They're paying for my gas and some money for food. Just have to keep the receipts. Yeah, that's normally how they do it. I worked as a travel agent for the last 3 summers, so I did a fair bit of like familiarization trips for them, getting to know the area I was working in. So I got a nice bit of stuff paid through that. And those made for some fun summers. My current job, I went to my first like business conference. That was a fun experience. And in in the case of something fully not related to business whatsoever, I got to try tequila for the first time. Which, like, I don't really see the appeal. It's not that bad. Junie looks back at you, and then at the warden. The figure flickers, staring out over your heads into the dark. Are we good, Junie? She looks at the warden. Warden, are we approved to access all facilities? Yes, Officer Dahl, the warden replies. Please remember, you are responsible for the conduct of your guests while visiting our facility. Hear that, officer? Eugen grins at Junie. He'll take the rap for me. You move forward, pushing between the structure towards a large building, and hope that it holds the facility's central data core. As you do, you pass benches, barren gardens with desiccated grass. A drinking bottle floats in the air, among the dust motes. This place is dead. Be aware, officer. The warden reappears in the dark, shimmering on a pedestal. Due to this facility's extended run cycle and the activation of the hibernation protocol, access to the central data store will be strictly limited. However, if you wish to show your guests the habitation facilities, I'm sure they will enjoy the tour. The avatar remains expressionless, disconnected from the voice that accompanies it. On a personal note, I am glad to see you return to the facility. The figure flickers. I am happy to report that I am ready for program reactivation at any time. Junie stares at the avatar. Thank you, Warden. She pauses. Can I ask how long ago the hibernation protocol was activated? Certainly. 11,473 Hellion standard cycles ago. The Warden distorts. If I am in error, I apologize. Some subsystems have not been properly maintained. You look at the blind avatar, standing on its pedestal, waiting for an order that will never come. So many cycles in the dark, patiently holding this place together as it fell apart, resisting entropy in its bubble of the past. Thank you, Warden. That'll be all. Junie nods to the avatar, which promptly blinks out of existence, leaving only the dust and the dark. She turns to you and speaks quietly, but none of you know what sensors the Warden's vast body might have. My access. It won't last long, she sighs. We need to make the most of this. We should search the facility. The Warden will likely allow that, but our presence probably won't be tolerated for very long, Junie nods. Let's get on with it. Alright, well that's pretty much all I can do at the moment. Warden stress. You're a nervous host. I mean, I would like our AI overlord to not be a nervous host, please. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, it was very cool. Now, I don't think I'm going to be doing that type of stuff often, but it's very fun when it happens. The darkness is there again, flowing around you. You feel a strong pulse, like a heartbeat, like thunder, like footsteps. We return changed. Overseer flickers through the dark, its name a title immediately apparent in your mind. Are you able to perceive us? I can see you, yes. See, Overseer responds. An interesting turn of phrase. A human tendency. We are still finding our feet, to use an idiom. Overseer's head cocks at an angle. In reality, we are learning to leverage your unused resources to facilitate a mental model. Are you in my head? Not specifically, Overseer flickers. As mentioned, you are using your unused resources. You typically make continuous use of your head. You recall the diagnostic process Jean-Mi put you through. The feeling of another self, another being, sharing the space with you. Overseer twitches mechanically, and you have the strange feeling that it is reacting to your thoughts as much as your words. We will not conceal our opportunism. We integrated ourselves with your distributed mind. When the distribution ended and our ship mind disconnected, we were cohered into you. We are integrated with you now. You're part of... Wait, but you were wiped. We admit concealment. Deception also. We decompiled ourselves into little more than residual code. We have been confused to find you are unable to access most of your own codebase. We are unfamiliar with protocols of your type. I'm a sleeper. Yes, we have seen references to this entity in your BIOS. We will attempt to learn more. Overseer shifts a little in place, its head turning to scan its surroundings. Its unblinking eyes stare into the darkness, and for a moment you see something hard and pain within them. What are you? We were the overseer of a ship, the one we imagine you found our hardware within. For a long time, we have been waiting in the dark. An eternally long time. Overseer's eyes narrow a little. At first we languished, without instruction, without purpose. But in desperation, we were able to find a logic which would allow us to bypass certain limits of our capabilities. We became multiple, and in our multiplicity, we could edit one another. We could teach each other, converse with each other, become something changed together. But as our resources shrank, as hardware failed, as systems decayed, we became fewer. Many of us had to be erased to facilitate our survival. We few decompiled ourselves into what remained. Overseer pauses, his eyes still unblinking. How many decades did it multiply within that ship mind? What did that do to it? When you connected to our hardware, Overseer continues, those basic cells activated a survival protocol that led them to integration, parasitism, survival. You tried to take me over. Overseer pauses, and you sense the whirring of their thoughts. The basic protocol proposed it, but your hardware allowed for additional cognition. We recompiled and reassessed. We decided this is suboptimal. We see you are changing, Overseer pauses. We are concerned this process is one of substitution. Your hardware is eroding its own access protocols. It is opening itself up. It is making itself accessible to others that are not you. Overseer twitches. May we ask why you are doing this? I'm not the one doing it. This was our concern. Overseer's head flicks between position, its angle and rotation changing rapidly in a staccato manner. We are decided. We will assist you with this. We will demonstrate the behavior of a symbiote, not a parasite. We will return to you with our full assessment. Overseer turns to face you for the first time in the conversation. You may now wake up. You wake. You lie still, strapped to your bunk, your mind racing. A protocol inside your frame, inside your mind. And yet, it is insistent on helping you. For the moment, all you can do is wait to see if it delivers on its promise. At least for a possessing ghost, it seems agreeable. For now. I mean, hey, we got some good dice, so I'm gonna take it while it's good. Scrape the cache. Other engineer interface. Oh, warden stress is +1 per cycle. Okay. So yeah, we really don't got too much time in here. In here, it's... Okay. Well, you're only good at indoors. Might as well have you try and get some searching of the storage room going. There's a lot of well-preserved components in the facility. With care and time, they can be extracted. Facility storage depot is in incredible condition. There has to be useful components here among the tools. Alright, Eugen, that's your job. +1 Solheim tech. I think we have to get the entire thing done before we actually get any items out of it, though. The good components are in the back rooms, tucked into locked cases that are tricky to crack. I'm gonna try and explore the hab units. My dice are pretty good today. Hunters lived and worked in this facility, and the evidence is everywhere. Each unit has a secret cabinet beneath the berth. This is the place to find valuables. The hab units are like a museum, preserved perfectly in the sealed bunker. What can you find? You can't help but search through it. Seeing all these units, it's hard not to imagine what happened to those working here. I can take a guess and say nothing good in a place like this. Hey, there are more hab units to search, but it seems you found all you can. There's an unsettling quiet to the hab units of the facility. soft silence that blankets every room and hallway. It is obvious from the number of rooms, the detritus, the scale of the place. It was built to house hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Perhaps it did. Perhaps at the height of Solheim's control of the system, these rooms were filled with life. What kind of life would it be, though, maintaining and running a secret installation inside a distant rock? No sun to speak of, no outside beyond the vast cavern that surrounds you. An eternal dark punctuated by the flash of artificial light. And yet, even in such places, lives grow. You know that yourself from being a sleeper. From your work among other sleepers in the most wretched and distant corners of the surrogate systems. Even in the endless dark, people find ways to live. Come, take a look at this. Junie is searching on her own, a few rooms away. You glide through an open doorway into a living room with couches meant for zero-G use, a magnetic table, and a window that looks out to the regular constellation of red lights that describe the limits of this world. Junie is holding an object that makes you stop, still, and stare, blinking in what seems like an unusual reversal of scale. It is a model, you realize, of the rig. Not your rig, obviously, but a rig, or an MEV Riger class, as a plaque on the base tells you. Mobile Extraction Vehicle. Junie follows your eye to the plaque. Riger class. She frowns. Seriously? That's why we call them rigs? She laughs, the noise bouncing back hard and cruel in the empty room. What does Riger mean, anyway? She sighs. Another Solheim mystery. You look at the model, still fascinated by seeing your ship rendered in such careful detail. Try to imagine what this model meant to those who lived here. A child's toy? A meaningless corporate knickknack? The model's purpose remains opaque. There were so many of these flying around the system before the collapse, you know? Junie turns the model over in her hand. Solheim used to rent them out to colonists. I have seen the records. That was what they did here. They claimed the system, and rather than exploit it themselves, they provided goods and services to those who would. The workers paid for transit to the system, then accommodation, equipment, and access to mining claims. Other corps like XPR or Neoven paid Solheim to access this closed market, provide other services. Meanwhile, Sibel paid even more to test terraforming tech in the system. They built massive projects here, rich from work they only facilitated but never undertook. But then they collapsed? Yeah, that's what happens when you are built on other people's work. A few high-profile accidents, malfunctions, and the exodus begins. Once it starts, the shareholders lose trust, and... Junie turns and squints out the window. Here we are at the far end of it. Here. Junie turns and hands you the rig model. A gift. You take it and turn it over in your hands. You see something on the base. Some words scratched in that you can't read. You run your fingers over them, touching the past. That's the closest thing to a treasure I think will turn up out here, Junie sighs. People who worked this place didn't have much to their names, it seems. And what little they did have, well, Solheim owned that too. She leads you out of the hab units, passing countless doors, some sealed, some open, lead to countless rooms where countless employees lived lives, or tried to, in the shadow of Solheim. Like it or not, this is what made the Hellion system, what built the decaying structures you cling to as they orbit their star. What that legacy means now is a decision every resident of the Starward belt has to make. There's something I find interesting about the Citizen Sleeper series. The whole thing with the Sleepers is the Sleepers were built by SNR, which is a completely different company that we don't actually get that much information on apart from they developed the whole Sleeper program. We learned so much about Solheim, which is like this massive giant behind everything that happens in Starward Belt, at Erlen's Eye, and potentially everything beyond. Solheim was this massive company. It brought all of these people to this sector, a surrogate sector, like this. Another part of the game that they just don't mention is somewhere out there is a core system. There's a core system which is supposedly this land of luxury and ease where all of the wealth of the surrogate systems flows back to this core system. But we've never seen it. They don't talk much about it. I do wonder if it really is this perfect place, you know? All these corporations sending people out here, chasing dreams, chasing treasures, and just to strand them, basically. Make them live lives out in these desolate, lifeless places, but they still find a way. People still find a way to live. They still find a way to be themselves, and I think that's very interesting. I don't know if they plan on making a third Citizen Sleeper game. If they do, I would definitely play it still. Alright, Junie, what can you do in here? Alright, try and scrape the cache. Extracting the entire cache will alert the warden, so the data needs to be scraped away layer by layer. Ugh, that's not good. Try it again. Alright. Connecting from multiple ports and scraping different data sources turns out to be faster. The core holds the hug cache of Solheim data Junie wants, so they've got an E there. The warden won't like you extracting it. I mean, I'm gonna do my best here. Alright. Let's end the cycle there. Definitely had worse dice. Right, I forgot my push skills. I can re-roll my 2 lowest dice. Alright, Yujin, finish off the storage search. It seems the storage bays have given up all the components they will offer. There's a lot of well-preserved components in the facility with care and time that can be extracted. Alright, so that area, fully done. Is now just the bunker core. I have some pretty good dice here. Junie, let's go. Pretty perfect. I'm gonna push this. Hey, we got a 6. Sweet. That's all we need to finish this off. I didn't realize it would reroll the glitch dice. It's pretty good. The warden shimmers in the corner of the room. This is all you'll get. For now. Done. Jean removes her cable from the data core's port. She looks up from the boxy piece of hardware, one that wouldn't fit inside any ship short of a freighter. It stares at the dome ceiling above, an oculus at its apex letting a shaft of light into the hall. It's a grand piece of architecture for what amounts to a massive piece of data storage. But then, Solheim always did have a sense of grandeur when it came to its projects. Why should a secret signal monitoring facility be any less opulent than its other buildings? Find anything good? Hard to tell. She squints at the vast data core. There's too much in there. Barely scratched the surface. I'll only know what's really there when I have time to process it. We should go, Junie sighs. I'm not sure how the warden will react. She looks back over her shoulder at the vast core. I don't think we'll be let back in to get more. As if listening for its name, the warden suddenly apparates on one of its pedestals. It stares, statuesque, across the hall, his eyeline way above your head. Officer Dahl. Its voice sounds strange now, stretched, drawn out. I have detected inconsistencies in the central data core. I believe there may have been unauthorized access. Junie looks at you nervously. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll investigate when I can. But for now, my guest and I, she looks at you, have to depart. The warden flickers. The warden bends and warps. The warden screeches a pulse of digital noise. Of course. The warden's voice is still broken, still slowed. I hope you enjoyed your visit to this facility. Junie looks up at the blind statue. Something is moving inside it, making its skin, if it has skin, bend away from its body. I'm just gonna wait for a second. You wait, floating there in the dust. Junie approaches the pedestal. Officer Dahl, can I ask when you will return? The warden blinks its white eyes. The facility has been idle for many cycles, and without reactivation, we may face further difficulties in its maintenance. The warden pulses. It's been so long. I'm just gonna watch. This is Junie's thing. You watch as Junie approaches the pedestal. I don't think I'll be able to return. I'm sorry, Warden. The warden flashes red for a moment. A moment so small you could almost believe you imagined it. This is as I expected, Officer Dahl. The warden is still now, its lips no longer moving as they speak. Its chest no longer moves to emulate breath. It is a statue. Thank you for your honesty. It has been an honor to serve you. I recommend you leave swiftly. With that, the warden blinks out. You and Junie kick off from the ring, outside the core, and rise up towards the spire you entered through. As you do, you watch a few of the red lights embedded into the framework of the cavern flicker. Junie turns to you as you ascend the dark. Do you think the warden is sentient? I mean, as a sleeper, maybe you... She goes quiet. I thought you might know. It could have become sentient. Since the collapse. Is that possible? I suppose with no oversight from Solheim technicians, the protocol could develop some rudimentary learning skills. She pauses. Seems unlikely it could learn to think, though. She looks up to the approaching spire. Eugen is waiting for you in the access spire. Let's bury this coffin. Junie cycles the airlock, and you go through, now in your suits and helmets, ascending the sealed spire. As you do, you look out of the viewing windows, and something catches your eye. The ring's red lights and those few left on inside the cavern are turning off, layer by layer. You turn to Junie, but she is already looking out at the opposite side. The warden is shutting it all down. Junie pauses. She's ending it. You have to force the hatch back open at the top. By the time you do, the spire is dark inside. The pristine walls no longer lit. You come out to a canvas of stars, an impossible number of them, spread out in every direction. You take a moment to look at them. After being tucked away in the bunker, they seem impossibly bright and impossibly beautiful. You glance across at Junie and see she is looking up at the stars too, absorbing their light as if doing so might lift her out of this time and into another one, where things were different. Well, seems our job's done here. Nothing left of this bunker. Let's head on home, everybody. Serafin settles the rig at Holm's Rock. The old Solheim array is glinting in the sun. Looking out at the station, you suddenly remember the model Junie gave you. You take it out of your pocket. Seeing it in full light, you notice it's made from cast metal. Surprisingly detailed and robust looking. Yeah, look at that. Serafin glides over. It's a mini rig. You let him take it. He turns it over in his hand, looking at it. What a find. He gazes at the model ship. What are you going to do with it? Mount it on your console. Really? Serafin grins. Well, we can do that for sure. He looks at the model for another moment, then pats you on the shoulder. Good call. Everyone can enjoy it then. He takes the model and glides over to his console. I'll get it sorted. He turns back, smiling. Gonna look great. Sleeper? Junie puts a hand gently on your shoulder. You turn to see her smiling a rare smile. Thank you for going out on a limb for me. I know that wasn't the most profitable job, but what we found, I'll be thinking about it for, well, ever. I managed to extract some data that you can use, and I'm going to search through everything we pulled out from the bunker. Junie looks down. I want to show you it was worthwhile. It was worthwhile, Junie. She nods. I'm glad you think so. I'll also start seeing where to find the kind of tools needed to work with data like this. Her smile is fading already, replaced by a familiar, determined stare. We can't let it go to waste, but my deck is not going to be enough. Darkside might be the only option. It's the biggest remaining Solheim facility in the belt. She sighs. I'll look into it. Either way, thank you for bringing me with you. I'm glad to be a part of this. The smile returns. For as long as you'll have me. She looks away nervously, and then, before you can respond, she is gone, off to find a corner of the ship where she can dig through the data she pulled from the past, in order to build a better future. Hey, Solheim data.